Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Facebook Live. I am so excited to be here with you to have this conversation as we dive into a topic that I believe is so super important, especially during the holiday season. And that is nutrition and stress management for cancer patients and survivors. Now, in actuality, these tips can definitely be used for anyone, but we focus on our cancer patients and survivors because, as you know, I am president of the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group. And so we want to make sure that our members and cancer patients and survivors all over the world have access to information that can help them navigate the holiday season. You may be thinking, oh, it's Thanksgiving, but outside of Thanksgiving, we head straight into the busy Christmas season. And so I believe that these tips will help all cancer patients and survivors navigate the holiday season, the stress of the holiday season, the eating of the holiday season, as well as we just focus on enjoying the season, but in a way that definitely supports our journey as cancer patients and survivors. And so, welcome to today's conversation. We know that the holidays can be a time of joy, but they can also bring unique challenges, from navigating big meals to managing the hustle and bustle of the season. And so today I will be sharing practical tips to help you stay nourished, energized, and stress free while navigating the beauty of the holiday season that we are about to enter. So, whether you're on a healing journey or perhaps a caretaker and supporting someone who is, I promise that this session is going to provide you with actionable advice that can help you thrive through this season. I'm all about taking notes. And so, if you want to grab a pen, maybe even sit to enjoy this video with me, get yourself a cup of water or some other type of beverage, and let's get started talking about the holiday season and how best we can navigate that to ensure that we don't get overstressed during the season. We have to prioritize nourishment that supports health and healing. And so let's jump straight into some tips that we can use. Now, as we navigate this conversation, if you see anything that resonates with you or you hear anything that resonates with you, please be sure to drop it in the comments so that you can help me deepen the dialogue about this session and just to capture any notes that you may want to remember as well about how to navigate this season. So my first recommendation is to balance your plate. Aim to have a colorful plate of vegetables. Eat the rainbow. That's one of the things Coach Melissa teaches us when we go on our grocery store tours is to eat the rainbow. So we want to make sure that we have a plate that is filled with color, and this is vegetables, fiber-rich vegetables. And so you want to have those vegetables, lean proteins, and maybe just a little bit of healthy greens because we want to, as best as possible, eliminate those simple carbohydrates that will cause insulin spikes in our bodies. And so here's the 50-25-25 rule. Half of your plate should be filled with those fiber-rich vegetables, then 1/4 with a protein, and 1/4 should be those whole grains like quinoa or something healthy of that nature. Tip number 2 is to prioritize putting immune boosting food on your plate. Now, the holiday season, we go from place to place. We go to hail family. We may go into multiple homes on any one given day. So over the course of the holiday season, we are running from place to place. And that means that we're interacting with a lot of people. It's important for us to keep our immune system strong. A strong immune system will help us fight off small infections and to help just keep our body strong so that we're not concerned about catching a cold or a flu or the dreaded C word. So we want to make sure that our plates have dark leafy green vegetables, and perhaps a small amount of sweet potatoes, because they are packed with antioxidants. We want to make sure that we are boosting our immune system by avoiding food that cause inflammation, like those simple carbohydrates that I referred to earlier. Simple carbohydrates are things like regular potatoes, pasta, macaroni, bread. Those things break down in our digestive system very quickly and cause those insulin spikes in our bodies. Many of us are walking around with insulin resistance because we are consuming too many simple carbohydrates. So we want to make sure that we are eating and prioritizing eating immune boosting food. Now, I want to just stop here for a moment and talk about the fact that when you are a cancer patient, there is before cancer and then there's after cancer. The life that you live after cancer cannot mirror the life that you live before cancer. There are a lot of lifestyle changes that need to be made, and food is one of those lifestyle changes. So you want to be very conscious of what you're putting in your body. And if you need something sweet, you can have that sweet potato or perhaps just some cranberries, like the natural cranberries, because they are rich in vitamins and they're also great for urinary health. Now, the thing is, cranberry juice is not healthy. So if you're drinking, it says 100% cranberry juice, and when you turn it around and you read the label, which is another thing Coach Melissa taught us on our grocery store talk, that label may say 10% juice. What a contradiction. So we want to make sure that we are eating whole foods as opposed to drinking these beverages that are not going to give our bodies any nutrition. The third thing, and I've already touched it, is that we want to limit sugar and refined carbs. I have group members who say that they treat themselves, and so they may have cake or cookies or something of that nature that's sweet. Now, a treat is something that you have every so often. It's not something that we have every day or every week or every 2 weeks. A treat is literally that, something that we have on occasion. And so when it comes to the holiday season, we do know that there's a lot of options available for us to eat sugary desserts and refined carbs. I want to caution you to opt out of those refined carbs, those cakes, those cookies, those pies, all of those things that are actually going to do more harm to your body than fuel the body. So you may eat big apples with perhaps just a little bit of honey or with some cinnamon, or a small piece of a pumpkin pie that's not laden down with a lot of brown sugar or sugar. Sugar is the enemy for a cancer patient. So you want to make sure that you're limiting the bread. That's those dinner rolls, sliced bread, French toast, pancakes, waffles. All of those things are the before cancer food. After cancer, we need to be very conscious of how we are fueling our bodies and ensuring that we are limiting sugar and refined carbs. My fourth tip is to stay hydrated. We are dehydrated and we don't even know it. So we need to make sure that we're getting our electrolytes and drinking enough water throughout the course of the day. Water is the best beverage of choice. Sodas and juice and all of those other beverages that we are enjoying are not good for our bodies. They actually work against us being healthy. So if you want to be hydrated, look for a clean electrolyte supplement or that you can put in your water and drink, or just infuse your water with lemons, no sweetener. Or if you need a sweetener, perhaps an organic stevia, something that you can use that is not going to impact your body. But you want to make sure that your primary drink of choice is actually water, and you're drinking lots of water throughout the course of the day. Additionally, if you want to, you can also drink herbal teas. They can be made and put in the refrigerator. You can drink that as a beverage. I know some people opt for agave or honey to sweeten their drinks. And while I'm not 100% a fan of those things, because sugar is sugar and it's going to impact the body, Either which way, whether it's white refined sugar or honey or agave, it's going to have the same impact. So I want to just encourage you to do your best to make those herbal teas that have the natural flavor in it that you don't need so many sweetness for. And so you can have fruit infused water, get your strawberries, your blueberries, those sorts of fruits, oranges, you can slice them and infuse your water with them to give the water a little bit of a sweet taste. And then, of course, those herbal teas. And if you live here in the Bahamas, we have soursop tea that we can have with fever grass, or we can drink the fever grass tea by itself. And it has such a good flavor. There are options. But we want to make sure that we are staying hydrated this holiday season. My fifth tip for you is to use heart healthy fats. Now, ladies, we know that a lot of us enjoy deep fried food. We love our fried chicken. We love our crispy chicken. We love our fried fish. I want to encourage you, though, to incorporate healthy oils like the olive oil, avocado oils, or even some of the better nut oils for cooking and using in your salad dressings. As best as possible, avoid heavy cream, milk, dairy products, butter. If you need something, perhaps use a Greek yogurt or plant-based alternatives instead. And on our last grocery store tour at Solomon's Fresh Market, we were introduced to a plant-based yogurt, and it was so scrumptious. Take the time to go into the grocery store and look for replacement options for those sugar-laden products that we're actually using. So we want to incorporate those heart healthy fats into our diet during this season. The sixth thing that I'd like to encourage you to do is to watch your portion sizes. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but if we just look around our country and we look around the world, we see the waist sizes of people increasing tremendously. And that waist size, WAIST, is increasing because our food consumption is also increasing. When I was a little girl, the portion sizes were much smaller than they are today. Today, you can biggie size and extra biggie size a meal. And all of that is extra calories that we're putting into our bodies that our bodies may not be able to properly digest, that will eventually be stored as fat, that will cause us to be resistant to insulin. And so we want to make sure that we are eating enough for us to be full and not gorging. Sometimes it takes a minute for the brain to recognize that the stomach is full. So I want to encourage you to use smaller plates. You know, we buy these larger plates to put more food so that we can eat more. But I want to encourage you to use smaller plates to help you control your portions, and wait a few minutes before you go back for seconds, because you might actually be full. This can help us just reduce the temptation to overeat during the holiday season. When you hear about the word niggeritis, for those of us who are in the Black community, or if you are not in the Black community and you eat and you go to sleep, it's a term that we use to say, oh, we're full and it causes us to go to sleep. It is actually an insulin overload. And the body is trying its best to rid itself of the excess sugar. And sometimes that means it puts us to sleep. That is not a good thing. So we want to watch our portion sizes to ensure that we are eating the right amount of food. And what we can do, for those of you, even with Thanksgiving next week, and some of you are purchasing Thanksgiving meals, that is sometimes 3 and 4 portions in one plate. What you can do is portion your food out instead of trying to eat that entire plate of food in one sitting. That is enough food for probably 2 or 3 days. So do your best to portion size your food during this holiday season, whether that's Thanksgiving or all of the other festivities that we're invited to over the holidays. The seventh thing I'd like to encourage you to do is to really avoid processed foods. So as best as possible, stick to fresh, whole ingredients. If you look at the ingredients on your packages when you're making your purchases in the food store, you're looking for packages that have 1 or 2 ingredients. If it has like a multitude of ingredients and you cannot pronounce those things, then that is not the right product for your body. We want whole foods to nourish our bodies. So as you do your grocery shopping, make sure that you are reading the labels and picking up food that you can actually pronounce, okay? And as far as possible, homemade dishes are much better than the fast food options that are so convenient. Convenient food is also leading us to these tremendous size wastes that we see in the community today. And in the convenience food, we have no control over the amount of salt, the amount of sugar, the amount of butter, the amount of fat content. When you make your food at home, you know exactly what you're putting into that, and you're able to choose the best ingredients to feed your family. I do know that there are times that we don't have the time to cook every day for our families, and that's when it's going to be super important for us to make the best choices as it relates to the food that we are consuming and that we are avoiding overly processed foods. The Christmas and Thanksgiving season is a busy season and we're on the go a lot, which makes it tempting for us to choose fast food. But I want to challenge you this season to meal prep, to prepare your food, to portion your food out. If you go into the grocery store and just walk through the freezer aisle, that would give you an indication of the things that you can cook and freeze. And cook and freeze your food, pull that out in the morning, let it defrost, and you have a meal that can go with you wherever you go. You can even heat your food up if you purchase one of those lunch bins that you can plug into your car heater, or if you have one of those thermal cups, because that's what I use to put food in. It keeps our beverages hot, but it can also keep our food hot, and you can take your food on the go with you. Now, I'll tell you in full transparency that the month of October was hard for me. It was a difficult month of being here, there, and everywhere. And I had moments when I did not select the right foods for my body because I was on the go and needed something quick, and I did not meal prep. That worked against me. And so that's why I want to use that lesson to encourage you as far as possible to prepare in advance for your meals as you move. And so that even like when I was a little girl, my Grammy would make sure that we ate before we went out so that we knew what we were eating at home. And if we are offered food, we can have a small portion of it, or we can even take a to-go plate. We have to find the remedies that are going to work for us. And so the eighth suggestion that I have for you today is not to skip meals. And I want to just frame this by saying we eat 2 meals a day in my household. And so that 3 meal a day thing is a lot of food. Again, it is a programming that we've had from we were young about eating three square meals and also snacks in between. When we do that constant eating, we are doing this to our blood sugar. We're doing this and causing inflammation in our body, causing fluid and all these different challenges that we're having because the body isn't having enough time to rest in between meals, which is why fasting is super important. Fasting allows the body to get rid of toxins and to properly digest food that we have put into our bodies. So you can look at perhaps how many meals you actually need. You know, when I was studying about diabetes, one of the things that I read that is encouraged for diabetics to do is to eat 6 or 7 small meals a day, which keeps your insulin, which just keeps it pumping in your body. It does not allow your body to pause and digest and release the toxins, but send the nutrients into the cells. So for me, as somebody that is navigating the diabetes journey, the less food I eat, the better my numbers are. And so I want to encourage you to first determine how much food do you really need. Do you need to eat 3 times a day? Do you also need snacks? And so figure out what is the right amount of food for you. So when I say don't skip meals, I'm not encouraging you to eat 3 times or 4 times or 6 times a day. What I'm encouraging you to do is to figure out what your body nutrition makeup is. What do you really need? And then from there, make sure that if you have 2 meals a day, that they are nutrient dense meals and they are healthy meals that can nourish and fuel your body. I don't know about you, but if you eat simple carbohydrates as a part of your meal, and let's just say that's a big portion of your meal, in about 2 to 3 hours, you're hungry again. And that's because that is broken down into sugar. And so now that's passed through. Your body is now crashing from the insulin. that it now needs a replenishment. And so those simple carbohydrates are dangerous to our bodies. And so moving on now, tip number 9, which I believe is one of the more important tips that we can talk about the holiday season. And that tip is to manage stress. Now, last year, as president of the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group, I literally ran from October to May. It was a stressful 6 months. Is that 6 months? October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 7 months. And it was an extremely stressful time. There are things that I noticed happening in my body as a result of that stress. I put on weight. During stress, when we are stressed out, the body releases something called cortisol. Cortisol is what causes us to have this belly in the front of us. So whenever I see my stomach start to get a little bit big, I know that I'm not managing my stress sufficiently. I didn't even know that there were periods of time that I was stressed until my son purchased this watch for me. It was actually a Garmin watch. And this watch gives me a readout for the level of stress that I experience over a 24-hour period. It gives me a week summary of how stressful my life was for that week and the impact that it had on my body. And so my watch, the readings would say that I had enough rest time to balance out the stress, or it would say I had more stress times than I had times of rest. And this is super, super important for us to understand that we may not feel stressed because many times I don't feel the stress physically, but my body is experiencing it internally. Thank you so much, Yolanda. I appreciate you being here and contributing to this conversation, that this is some good information. So what can we do to manage stress? And there are different types of stress. First of all, holidays can be emotionally overwhelming. For those of you who have experienced loss, if you are a caretaker or perhaps a part of a support group and there are members who are no longer here, we can get emotional and we can experience survivor's guilt, and that can stress us out because we're here, we're questioning why we're here and somebody else isn't here. Or we may be mourning the loss of a loved one. Like my mom has been gone for 7 years, but every special occasion, I mourn her even more. And that can become emotionally overwhelming and stressful to my body as well. Grief is something that we carry. It's something that we learn to handle. With time, perhaps it gets better, but it never truly goes away. So we can't have those triggers, and we must learn how to manage them, how to calm our bodies down. Because understand this, stress impacts our digestion and also our immune system. Believe it or not, stress can cause our immune systems to break down, to be weak, which leaves us open to catching common colds or the flu or other diseases and viruses that are around as well. It can cause indigestion. We may have acid reflux. We may feel that our food may be coming back up. It's just so many things because our body is so stressed out. It doesn't have the resources to properly digest our food and build the immunity by taking the nutrition out of the food and sending it into the cells to fuel the cells. So what can we do to manage stress? The first thing I want to encourage you to do is to learn how to breathe. We take deep breaths in and out so that we can begin to ground ourselves. One of the things that we can do first thing in the morning is actually go outside and ground ourselves barefoot to the earth and breathe in. Let the sun caress our bodies, get that vitamin D. Before the world get busy and the toxins start to flare up in the air, you can smell the freshness of the breeze and you can look at nature. Nature reminds us of the goodness of God. Nature reminds us that we are created by a God who knows how our bodies function and that he modeled for us rest. Because 6 days he worked and on the seventh day he rested. And for those of us who are kingdom citizens, those of us who are believers, and if we are to follow the example of Jesus Christ, we too must have time set aside for rest. So we breathe, we take time to rest, we practice gratitude. Gratitude is so grounding and it helps us to manage stress. Gratitude could look like something as simple as, I may not have any money in my savings account, but I was able to provide food for my family. And I'm so grateful that my family has a hot meal. So that's looking at the cup half full. Gratitude could be something like, you know what? I had 10 rounds of chemo. I'm 7 rounds in. I'm so grateful that I made it this far. 3 more to go, and I know I'm strong enough to do this. Gratitude could look like, you know what? I am so grateful that I can come to a place where I can get tips and resources on how to fuel my body and avoid inflammation and toxins from entering my body. Gratitude helps to frame our mindset. And the other thing that we can do during this holiday season is to really focus on the joy of being with the people that we love. Please do not get flustered by having to purchase gifts for everyone, what everybody will want for Christmas, and we don't have enough money to purchase all of these gifts. The greatest gift that we can give the people in our lives is the gift of our presence. Memories will outlast any gift that we can buy. So when we take the time to really enjoy being with our loved ones and being intentional about gathering, spending time talking and laughing, even reminiscing, that helps us. Laughter is good for the soul. The Bible even tells us that laughter is medicine for the soul. So my final tip today is to listen to your body. Our body always gives signals. It's always telling us that something is good, something is bad, something needs to be checked out. And so this holiday season, I want to encourage you to listen to your body. Eat slower, savor every bite so that when you're full, your body can give you that indication. And remember, it's okay to say no to certain dishes if they don't align with your dietary needs or comfort. Because someone gives us something during this holiday season, it's festive, it's like the cake, the ice cream, the treats, all the things that we know are not good for our body. It's okay to say no. Because when we say no, we are protecting our bodies from breaking down as a result of putting in the type of food that will cause challenges for us in the long run. And so, as I wrap up this live today, I want to take a minute to just thank you so much for joining me today. If you're going to catch this on the replay, thank you for just taking the time to sit down and grab some tips on how you can navigate this holiday season with nutrition and by managing your stress. I hope that the tips that I provided really inspire you to prioritize your health and well-being throughout the holidays. The holiday season is but a season. January, February, if we are lucky enough, those months will also come and follow. And seasons require different things of us. So this holiday season, I want to remind you to prioritize your health and well-being every single day. Don't allow the season to shift you from doing what you know is right for your body. This season is more about the food and the festivities. It's really about cherishing life, embracing joy, and nurturing yourself from the inside out. Now, if you found these tips helpful at all, don't forget to share this video with someone who could truly benefit from this video. And if you have any questions or if you need support, you can drop a comment and I'll be happy to respond to those. I'd love to connect with you. Actually, if you are a cancer patient or survivor and someone has shared this video with you and you're navigating your cancer journey alone, I'd like to extend a personal invitation to you to join the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group. In our support group, we live, we love, we thrive, but more than that, we are sisters who truly support sisters in the fight for life. I wish you the very best this holiday season. I wish you a happy and healthy and stress-free holiday. And remember that you're not trying to survive. You're actually trying to thrive. Keep that word in mind, that you deserve to thrive. And I hope you say, I deserve to thrive. And if you believe that you deserve to thrive, then it means that you must make the decisions that will help you to thrive. And so until next time, when we come on live to bring you more information, tips, and tools about how to navigate your cancer journey, take care. But more than that, stay well and blessings to you. Thank you for joining me and take care. Thank you, Yolanda. I appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.